Jennifer, you throw one arrow. What you love about the first movies were a lot of the action scenes, as much as really trying to be physical. But in this one, you're acting more with your eyes, your face expressions. So how different was it from the previous two movies that you had so much action and not as much in this one, and maybe even more acting? ¿Cómo fue hacer esta película en la cual en tus dos primeras cintas de los Juegos del Hambre tienes muchas escenas de acción y en esta te limitas a tener más expresiones faciales, muchas menos secuencias de batalla?
Please answer in Spanish.
Sí.
En español. En español.
I wish I
What
could
was that
just
last
whip
part?
that out. No, it was so perfect. Yeah, there was a lot less action in these movies. And, you know, she's in a very different place emotionally at the beginning of these movies. She's been, the games have completely changed her. So it's not, she's kind of has to totally rebuild herself. So yeah, there wasn't as much action this time, more just kind of her reaction, I guess, to everything.
And
The one arrow was, I want to straighten something up. A lot of people think that that the arrow hit like a vulnerable spot on the hovercraft. It was an explosive arrow.
Yeah.
We would never think that would be true, but anyway, it's something we should know.
Question here in the front row, the gentleman with the glasses, yeah, with the yellow shirt.
As well.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Bruce Kirkland from the Toronto Sun in Canada. And I have a question in regards to the political and social sophistication of these movies, just like there was in the novels. So I'd be curious for Mr. Sutherland, Ms. Moore, and Ms. Lawrence to talk about it, because Donald, you represent the extreme, and of course it's ironical because you're the most humanitarian person I think I've ever met. But nevertheless, you represent fascism. Julianne, you represent freedom. And Jennifer, you're struggling between these extremes as the way for the audience to identify with these issues too. So I'm very intrigued by the sophistication of a young adult series of films that has these issues. So I'd love to hear from the three of you on that.
Well, my version of being caught in between the two, as you say, I think, as you said, he's representing fascism, coined freedom, only her version of freedom. And Katniss is representing the consequences of war. It's not that she doesn't believe in what President Coyne wants. It's not that she doesn't believe that the Capitol is a terrible government that's only good for, you know, the 1% and blah, blah, blah. But war is complicated. And it affects everyone on both sides. So I think for Katniss, I think we have the two very strong points, complete opposing sides, and then the one person caught in the middle that's feeling the pain from both, that there really is no right way to start or end a war. I don't know.
Well,
and then at the end of all of it, I'm like, but I don't know.
But that's what fascinated me most about the books as a parent, because when I read them, I was really struck by the political allegory, and that's very unusual, obviously, in YA. And they were, I was like, oh my gosh, these are political books with adolescent overtones. So, and the thing about dystopia is that what it posits is whether or not we have free will as human beings. And for adolescents in particular, that's a time when that idea is looming pretty large, because you haven't had free will. You know, you're in your parents' house and you're looking to those next few years, you're going to be on your own, and who you're going to be as a human being, what are your moral choices going to be, what are your romantic choices going to be. And so here you have the central character who's trying to decide who she's going to be personally and who she's going to be politically. And it's fascinating. It's really, really wonderful. And then Suzanne Collins also sets up this idea, the difference between about freedom and totalitarianism, you know, and how you move from one political system to another. I think it's amazing, and obviously speaks, you know, not just to me, but to millions of people, because it's been wildly successful. These are ideas that we all, I think about.
The allegory is evident, you know, in in the comparison with the United States. And when I first read the script, I truly wanted to be a part of this project so that I could look back at the end of my life, which is pretty close, and say, I was a piece of this. Because for me, how she has presented this dilemma to young people and demanded from them a resolution, demanded from them a participation that could change things, because the world that my generation is leaving everyone is a disaster in every respect, environmentally, politically, socially, economically. So when I read it, I just begged to be a part of it, so that in the hope that it would be a catalyst for young people to get them off the seat of their pants that they've been sitting on for at least 2 generations, doing nothing. That somebody like Occupy or whomever use these films to generate from young people an energy that will take them into the voting booths in the United States in 2016 and make people responsible, politicians responsible for their words and their actions, to make them represent them. I hope somehow